All right, let's get started. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to hit the yeah. All right. All right. Huh. Okay. All right. Let me see here. Hmm. All right. I'll make sure everything. All right. Just want to make sure everything's going good before we get started. Hopefully, we get some people to show up. It's been a while since I've done a live stream, so. All right, so we got one viewer so far. I'll make that. We got 3 watchers. Wait, down to 4. We got 5 likes. Oh, by the way, make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all come in. Yeah, make sure y'all hit that like button when y'all come in. All right. So far, it's been a while since I've done a live stream. I just did a test earlier before I got started. Yeah, I did a test run before. We got 4 people. Hopefully, we get more. Make sure y'all share this live stream with people. See if they're interested in joining, coming, watching this. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Thank y'all for hitting that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. Um, Corey the Black Vegan. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done live on TB. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done a live stream. Uh, yeah, I'll probably explain what happened, why it took me so long to finally do a live stream, and then we're gonna really get to the meat of the story. I kind of also talked about it when I was doing my test run, which I still have uploaded. But I might as well tell you loud since we got some people. One of the reasons why it's been a while since I've done a live stream was because of what happened, unfortunately, to Google Hangout. Google Hangout was how people what streaming thing used by Google to help with live streams for YouTube. Unfortunately, they decided to shut the thing down, so it was harder for some people to ever do live streams. Then we found out that there was lots of different softwares like StreamYard, which I'm currently using right now, Zoom.us, and others to do their live streams. Um, I now decided I was like, I don't know when I was ever going to do a live stream again. So, but now it's 2020. It's a new year, new decade, and we're doing live streams again. I'll be trying to share with people so people can come in. Hey, Little Rock 2517, welcome. We got 1 dislike. Why are you hating? 8 likes. All right. All right. So we're going to get to the meat of the problem since we got some people coming in. So my title is Who I Blame for the New Policies and Why. In other words, I'm talking about why I blame the YouTube policies. Why do I think they're a problem? And why they can even be biased and why it's hurting content creators. So what I'm going to do first is, first thing I'm trying to do, I'm going to share the article I mean, not article, but this is something I got from Office. I actually create a list of who I blamed, and y'all about to see it right now. It says who I blame for YouTube's policies trying to defund, censor, and remove content creators. So that's the name of the game. So we've got this whole thing about censoring. So you probably first you need to know what are the new policies and why they seem biased and why it could be hurting content creators other than helping content creators. So let's get started with what the policies are. So since December last year, all the way to actually this month, there's a number of policies that has been created. One of them was the harassment, and I mean there may be some good to them, but there are also some issues that people have that could lead to some destruction. One was called the harassment policy or the content versus content harassment policy, where you can no longer make comments or videos or posts about other content creators um, in a negative image to the point where they have to report you to either YouTube or even the authorities, because it could the punishment would be your YouTube channel, heck, maybe even your Google account, because Google owns YouTube, could be removed on site, and they can even go further to other penalties. And because, understandably, they don't want a lot of to see, because there's been a lot of issues with false flagging, trolls, people doing all these kind of beefs and stuff that the YouTube company seems to think is hurting business and is causing advertisers to go away and stuff like that. Well, that's what YouTube is saying, and they want to make this platform extremely family friendly, advertisement friendly, celebrity, mainstream media, and even politics and government friendly. So any content creators that don't get the memo are the ones that are who's not on the team, according to YouTube, is going to be removed. They also are trying to find ways, policy. There was thinking of a policy YouTube. This is talk about YouTube, where they're trying to say if you're not putting in revenue or making money for YouTube, and I think they tried to get they might have canceled the plan, um, but they said that if you're not making money for YouTube, some content creators could be easily removed, or they just won't give you put notifications because you're not really putting in revenue and stuff. And I think the one part of the policy was a loophole that if you was paying for the premium account, which is there are leaks, you go to what is called YouTube Original, which is like a YouTube's Netflix, which is live stream. There's their streaming service where you can watch content from the YouTube Original series or films, where you have to have a premium account, and then also you can use that to the premium system to go to use YouTube Music and stuff like that. As long as you're paying the $15, is the kind of the loopholes where you didn't have to go through that. But I think they're not really doing that policy anymore or yet. So, but what I think was happening is they are trying to get people to pay because YouTube is desperate for money. That's the saying. But the reason why some people find a couple of these policy a problem is because what their real goal is to target and censor and maybe even remove certain content creators who YouTube thinks doesn't fit the program. And then it's another way of creating censorship against content creators to stop content creators for making certain content and by censoring them. And I mean, this has all been going on ever since that first ad apocalypse, where you had hit pieces from mainstream media attacking YouTube. And hey, Donna, just be real. Welcome back. You had hit pieces, YouTube being afraid, and just basically, so they reacted by just, demonetizing you content creators. And sometimes that content creator is not violating policies or just speaking the truth, but um, it's just YouTube and advertisers don't think it's their policy friendly, so they just censor. Then finally, you have the COPA. Well, I'll get to the COPA in a few minutes, but first, all I'm trying to say is some of these people are being unjustifiably hurt, removed from some of these policies just because YouTube don't like certain content creators, and certain YouTube content creators find it being rubbed the wrong way, to the point where YouTube content creators are even threatening lawsuits. We've had a few people actually sue YouTube because they thought that the policies was a violation of freedom of speech, in which the content creators have won their cases. So YouTube is trying to find many sneaky ways to make them stronger and make them so the Constitution they still said that they're still constitutional. Try to find them what to make them constitutional and yet still try to screw people. But I've just mentioned COPA recently. It's actually starting this month. The COPA policy will finally be created. And COPA is actually not something YouTube didn't create. It's actually YouTube creating something that goes under the COPA rule that the FTC created in the 90s, called the Child Online Protection Privacy Act, or Privacy Protections Act. And that was this policy is used to protect children from being exploited or exposed to things on the internet that they should not be exposed to. That even includes advertisers. And the reason why, oh, by the way, hey, Craig J, how's it going? The reason why is because YouTube went through a lawsuit against the FTC because they accused YouTube of not following the COPA rules. I actually talked about this in a past video called YouTube COPA. If you go to my list of videos on my channel, go to the video section where I list all my videos on my channel and find YouTube COPA, and I talk about how the COPA rule is being used to strict certain content from being created. And then also, when you create content, you have to make sure you're not targeting children with explicit content. So you have to first put down, is it for kids or not for kids? However, if you put it for kids, you will end up, what's going to end up is you're not going to get no monetization if you're getting monetized videos, and it's going to be hard for you to put on notifications, and some of those videos might end up having to go to YouTube Kids, which was a separate YouTube website created for kids under 13 to explore the YouTube experience, because the age limit rules for YouTube is kids, anyone under 13 should not actually cannot have create an account till they're at least 13 years old. And then, of course, you have some content creators having what is called age restrict videos, which is when those videos are age restricted, only people with accounts who are of the age of 18 could watch those videos. Yet you have some kids able to still watch YouTube videos as long as it's not age restricted, even without an account, which, by the way, I think YouTube should just make the site where you have to have an account, so that kids don't just go willy-nilly onto the site if you don't want them on there, and then or at least not without. Thank you, Anetta B. Make sure y'all hit that like button. That helps with notifications. Also, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, especially if you want notifications on whenever I create another video or live stream. And if you're having trouble getting notifications, just sometimes you can unsubscribe, then resubscribe and re-hit that notification button. That kind of helps reset. But thank you, Anetta B, for reminding people to hit that like button and hit that notification bell. Now back to what I was saying about the COPA thing. What was I about to say? The COPA was that they didn't want kids being exploited, being exposed, and they want people 13 and up to be allowed to have an account. And I say that then why don't you just make it where you can't be on YouTube, the main YouTube website, until you're 13, and only people with accounts can watch the videos. It might save you some of the trouble, but of course, some people speculated that YouTube was putting ads on videos meant for children on purpose without parents' consent because they're just so greedy and desperate for money. But anyway, yet instead of YouTube just taking the blame, which by the way they ended up with paying a big giant fine, instead of just taking the blame and taking responsibility, now they're trying to put the COPA rule so that it can hurt content creators who they claim violate the rules. And they're going to be content creators will be hit with a fine of thousands of dollars, not just for the whole channel, but just for just one video. Meaning, if you had 5 videos with violations, that's a lot of money. You have to pay thousands of dollars for, or I think it was 42,000 for each video, not just for the whole channel, but for each video. Each video gets a certain fine. That's a lot of money for someone to have to pay. So one way to avoid that situation was when you go to, if you're a content creator, go to your analytics to your studio and put down that your video is, whether it's made for kid or not for kid. But like I said, if it's made for kids, your video is not getting monetized or notified. If it's not made for kids, make sure they tell you to make sure you don't have anything that looks like it could be considered appealing to children, so they don't think you're trying to lure children in. Sometimes that's why recently some of my videos have been having disclaimers where sometimes I say this video is for 13 and up and then sometimes I'll put down that this video, my explicit content is for like video for people 17 and up or 18 and up and stuff like that, so that they could be reminded that this video is not for children, because this policy is not just affecting people like us, it's affecting everyone at YouTube. That means people who have to talk about certain topics, like let's just say they talk about anime or cartoons or movies or sports or whatsoever. If they think they're talking about something that's appealing to children, even though it's not a video for children, and it's just that guy is just a fan or girl is a fan of that stuff, they think the FTC and YouTube could think it's appealing to children and just fine them, even though it was not really lawful to fine them. So now people is just, well, we got a huge room today, so people are upset because some of these policies look like they're doing bias, or they're trying to hurt certain content creators, and I think that's what's really going on. I think YouTube, or the people outside of YouTube even, was trying to force YouTube, or YouTube's doing it on purpose to defund, censor, and remove certain content creators, especially, content creators that are like me, average Jane and Joan, black content creators, or content creators that YouTube just don't like for any reason. And it's like they're trying to censor or purge us off, which is everyone has been talking about this purging of content creators. It started with the adpocalypse, and now it's continuing on. Hey, Hobby Lobby, what's up? Yeah, I know your topics are not offensive, but I don't have time for the BS. Yeah, I understand hobby money, but YouTube on that sometimes can be on that BS, and so is the government. Which, by the way, is one of the people I blame for why some of these policies are being made, and most importantly, could be pulling the strings to YouTube making some certain moves that seem to be an issue. Yeah, that's why I'm going to put down all the blame on some of the content on some of the people that could be responsible for why some of the moves are being made by YouTube. And sometimes it's their fault, and other times it's other people outside that may be forcing YouTube to make certain moves or and such and such. And we're about to get to that situation right about now. So all right. Sorry about that. So we're gonna start with number one. Google and YouTube itself and haters, I believe, is one of the blames why YouTube is making some of these rules that seem to be hurting content creators rather than helping them. And first of all, Google is the current owners of YouTube. YouTube wasn't created by Google, but Google bought YouTube years ago because YouTube wasn't making a lot of money on its own, so they had to get some kind of finance or some kind of bigger company to merge with in order to survive. I also blame haters because let's face it, a lot of trolls will come on certain content creators, or you got a lot of jealous content creators will just go around and try to get you off of YouTube, try to flag your channel, try to just take you off because you're talking about stuff that they don't want you talking about, or you getting a lot more subscribers, a lot more donations, a lot more funding, and they may hate that. And I'm going with the haters first because they've just tried to find many ways to get rid of you. And then some of those haters may even work for YouTube or just work for Google. And so they may not like what you're talking about, but you're not violating policies. So they try to find ways to get YouTubers to make policies, especially if they're above like some kind of corporation or something, got connections. And they just find many ways to try to false flag you, make up reasons to try to take your channel off and just try to get rid of you. And that's been like, you got racist and stuff like that trying to attack. But the reason why I also say YouTube itself, Google itself, is because they really are starting not to care about its content creators. It was content creators, including us, that helped make YouTube the way it is. I mean, even just talking about this might put the risk of this channel going down or just being hurt or stuff like that. But it needs to be talked about because this could also affect your channels, your accounts, if you don't see it coming, if you're not prepared and not aware of what's really going on YouTube. And what I me and several other content creators are thinking what's happening, because other content creators have been talking about and making these suggestions that I think that I'm even starting to believe is what's really happening. But YouTube itself is also facing the pressure of the other people that will be talked about, such as corporations, advertisers, mainstream media, and celebrities, politicians, governments, which I will be talking about more later on when I talk about those individuals, because I do blame them for some of the new policies and how some people, content creators, are getting hurt. They react, instead of standing up to them, they just, cave in sometimes, and or they just purposely just want to find ways to screw over certain content creators, because they don't want to pay certain content creators, so they've been doing a lot of defunding and demonetization. They want some content creators to be quiet about certain topics, so they censor them. And then they just YouTube may just not want certain content creators on their platform, so they just find what excusable ways to get rid of them and try to find constitutional ways, so they can justify it in case if they're being sued in court. Yes, Anetta B, it is exactly true. I want to read some of these comments before I go on. I feel that there are a lot of reasons that play into what they are doing. I believe that pro-black channels are one of those reasons. Exactly right. What's up, Intelligent Cycle? Welcome. Have you noticed that I've now been back to doing live stream? But yes, especially black channels, that talk about, current events, business, education, the news, does a lot of news, talks about defending itself, trying to uplift the community, and even some things involving with entertainment. Certain races within YouTube may not like black channels doing that, so they're trying to find ways to get rid of them. And some of those races are either within YouTube's executive offices, or people who are funding and investing and advertising for YouTube. And then mainstream media is egging YouTube to get rid of pro-black channels. Now, I believe pro-black channels are the main targets, but there are also other targets, but I'm specifically talking about black channels. There are other targets that are of these policies and of YouTube's censoring and defunding and removing. But yes, as a black content creator, I feel like my people are being targeted the heaviest, because we talk about topics that no one, not even the mainstream media or not even professional journalists, some professional journalists, have the courage to talk about. And that's what people, whether YouTube itself or maybe the corporations, the mainstream media, or governments and politicians, don't want us to talk about. So yeah, Hobby Money, you may be right about that. But yeah, I also blame YouTube itself. Yes, Professor Black Truth is an example. There has been lots of attacks on him, Jason Black, Tarain, Tariq Nasheed. Hey, black man, what's up? There have been many attacks on them, and luckily they are able to get some of their channels to be revived. But there have been a lot of attacks on some of our favorite content creators. And yes, YouTube is basically censoring and removing channels, Hobby Money. And so, yes, YouTube is just doing this, and that's why I blame YouTube itself as number one, because they could stop all this, but they decide not to, or they don't stand up to the people that's forcing them to make them do all this, like advertisers. See, sometimes they YouTube caves into some of the other people who I'll be blaming later because YouTube wants money from certain advertisers in order for their channel to stay alive. Sometimes what they'll do is they will shadow ban you by creating algorithms to make sure that your content, your subscribers or other people don't get notifications or don't have your videos recommended, but have you be recommended to a content creator that they will like to keep around, or to other entities, but you may not be interested in those entities. You may not be subscribed to those entities, but YouTube will recommend them in favor of you or people like you that you would rather listen to. Exactly right, Hobby Money. So that's what is going on with YouTube itself. They have allowed this. And now, since I've been taught, yes, black man, they are trying to silence us. And it's not just us, but we are the biggest target. We are the main target. But they've also censored other people as well. I've been hearing talks about how certain communities within YouTube are being affected, including sports communities, build toy communities. There's a community that talks about different toys, that different tech communities, and movie and film communities, all different kinds of communities, anime communities, communities about just one specific sport or one specific genre of films or television shows or multiple. They've all been targeted. But yes, black content creators have also been the biggest, heaviest targets of these policies because there's been some racists, and it's all because of the current individual that runs the YouTube. Now, this individual doesn't run Google, but she does answer to Google, but she is in charge of the activities that go on YouTube, named Susan Wojcicki, or should I call Susan Watt Bitchy, because that's exactly what she is, because she runs the thing and she's allowed all this to happen. So yes, she was appointed by Google when they bought it. Someone else runs Google, runs the main Google as a whole, but she's in charge in charge of all the YouTube activities involving the YouTube platform. And a lot of people do not like this individual, and she even had her own videos at one time, but decided to stop them because she saw all the negative, the thumbs downs, and all the negative comments, and probably her feelings were hurt, and that's why I believe just her is why some of these policies are being made to hurt certain content creators, especially those that disagree with her. So you got haters and YouTube itself, the actual platform itself, to blame for why some of the censorship and some of the removing and the defunding of certain content creators, including us, or to the point where we can't even make money, period, is why this is happening. And that's number one. We're going to go into number two, corporations and advertisers. Well, I think they're actually the same, but corporations and advertisers are, they actually sponsor YouTube, or YouTube is their sponsor, or they fundraise, they invest in YouTube because they want to promote their products or services. Hold on, let me see what Hobby Money is saying. They are preventing specific companies like toy or movie reviews because they are catering to the entertainment industry. Yes, which we'll actually talk about when we talk about celebrities and mainstream media, because they are. But let's talk about corporations first. See, some of these corporations sponsor or put ads on YouTube to promote their products. You even have politicians, which, by the way, we might talk more about when we talk about politicians and governments, like to do ads, campaign ads for, to promote their campaigns if they're running for office and stuff. And sometimes money comes in. YouTube actually gets a cut of that money, or if you're a content creator that's getting advertisers or getting donations, YouTube actually gets a cut of that, and that's how YouTube makes its money. One thing that YouTube does not want to happen is that some people of those people or you not pay YouTube or not pay YouTube for certain things like premium accounts, or donations don't go to the flow of YouTube, because then YouTube can't make the money. I forgot to mention when I was talking about YouTube itself, I was talking about how other content creators will get donations through other ways because they don't want YouTube to get the cut because they think YouTube is unfair to them. So because they're not being monetized, so other content creators find other ways to monetize, like through Patreon, PayPal, Cash App, or other ways to donate. And if they're not using the super chat, if people are not donating to the super chat, which actually then that means those other platforms get the money, but not YouTube, because in order for YouTube to get donations for us, we have to donate through the super chat in order for YouTube to get a cut of that money. If we donate through other things, YouTube don't get that money. That's why there was also a plan for a policy to cut off people, content creators who don't use the super chat to make money, and penalize content creators for using other donation ways to make money for their channel. If none of the cut goes to YouTube. Now back to corporations and advertisers. Some of the reasons why corporations and advertisers would not want to fund YouTube is because there may be content or certain individuals or even YouTube itself that certain corporations and advertisers may be unfriendly to them, or that it's like content, like let's say if it's Disney or it's for Disney parks. Disney wants to advertise their parks, promote their parks through people's videos. But then they turned out that one of the ads went onto a video that talked about killing people or promotes terrorism. That actually is a bad look for that business to put ads or advertise on a video that talks about killing people. So the advertiser will be like, that's not friendly to us. We don't want you to put ads on that video. Matter of fact, we're not going to put ads on anything. So we're not going to give you no donations. So we're going to leave and donate money somewhere else. That pisses off YouTube. YouTube actually goes in panic mode, and because what if that one advertiser or corporation needed that money from them in order to advertise? Yes, I heard about that, black man. Um, yeah. What's going to happen is YouTube is going to have to find a way to either find other advertisers or corporations to donate money to them, or try to make it okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tell that channel to stop making that content or find other content, or we'll just delete that channel, and then you can come back because you don't have to worry about that channel anymore. Or we'll just at least demonetize, where we won't put your ads on that video and they don't get no money. That's what happens. And if that happens, then the corporation or advertiser will be like, okay, will come back to you as long as you do that. And that's what happened. Now, another reason why a corporation or advertiser will not want to donate money to a channel or put ads on the channel or donate to YouTube is because what if there's YouTube content that talks about corporate corruption, meaning talk about how certain businesses are doing illegal corruption or scams, or hurting people, hurting their employees, but the mainstream media is not talking about it, but so content creators are talking about it. Some of those corporations may not like that, because what if some of those corporations that are donating money to YouTube are some of the same corporations that the content creators are accusing of such corrupt acts, such heinous acts? Then advertisers like they're trying to expose us, or they're trying to put a bad reputation on us, so we're not going to donate money to you, YouTube, until you get those content creators to stop making videos about our corporation, or until you stop them, get those channels off that are talking bad about us. So YouTube, what's going to happen is YouTube creates a policy to stop content creators from making such content, so that it'll be what you quote unquote corporation or corporate friendly to those corporations, and then those corporations come back because YouTube is desperate for that money. Because a lot of people are saying that YouTube is becoming more corporate now, which I believe. So yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, that's one of the things that's probably happening, and it's bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, and this could be a corporation that is doing a lot of corrupt work, or donating to bad people, or donating to politicians. This is why some people want money out of politics and stuff like that, because this is also what happens when you depend too much on funding from corporations who want you to do things in return for them, even at the expense of other people like content creators. And instead of you going grassroots, where rebels who will actually let you do more freedom and stuff like that, that's what happens. But I also, like I said, I put down YouTube to blame, because YouTube is allowing this to happen, instead of standing up to corporations and saying, okay, if you don't want to advertise, then we'll find other people, or we find other ways to get money. You just don't have to come. Because we know that some of these corporations don't want their dirty laundry exposed by certain content creators like me, because I've talked about corruption, some of these corrupt things before, or people doing bad stuff. Like, we got restaurants attacking customers because of race. You got racist business owners and stuff like that. And they don't. Those business owners might be funding YouTube or putting ads on YouTube, and they don't want me talking about their business. That will scare them away from YouTube, and then YouTube will try to penalize me for talking bad about that corporation or business and stuff like that, because that business may also be an advertiser and stuff like that. That's what's going on. Anything to censor. So yes, corporations and advertisers share some of the blame for some of the new policies. I want to read this one comment. I tried to move my YouTube accounts to Black Junction TV, but I can't. Oh, you having trouble uploading? I use Black Junction TV. I'm able to upload videos good. Maybe I could do a tutorial of how you upload videos and stuff like that. Maybe that might help, but hopefully you find a way to upload, because this is why some black people are leaving to go to black owned sites like Black Junction, because of the antics at YouTube. I might talk about that later in the video, about some of the platforms that I use other than just How is Black Junction? Black Junction is actually pretty good. I'm able to upload a lot of videos. It might be your internet connection. Uh, um, yeah. Black Junction has so far been good. I'm able to upload videos and stuff like that. It's Black Junction. There's two Black Junction websites. BlackJunction.com, which is like their Facebook style, and then there's BlackJunction.tv, which is like their YouTube. I would like all blacks to go to Black Junction. Yes. Yes. See, eventually, if it's going to come to a point, and maybe I might talk about this in another video, it's going to come to a point where we're going to have to go elsewhere, excluding businesses that we own or platforms we own, in order to speak our freedom and speak our piece. Because corporations and YouTube itself and the other people who I blame for some of the issues are trying to censor and remove us. They're trying to silence our voices and stuff. But I'll talk about that later. Right now, we're talking about who to blame for why this stuff is even happening. So corporations play a part to why YouTube is making antics like that. Now, next, we're going to talk about the gentrifying of YouTube, and that's being caused by mainstream media, and celebrities. Have you noticed on YouTube, there's been a lot of YouTube channels by celebrities like Will Smith and Nick Cannon and all that stuff? And then you also get YouTube channels by mainstream news outlets like Guardian, CNN, Fox, NBC, CBS, the Washington Post, New York Times, and all that mainstream media. Well, that's actually been happening. And sometimes that's especially celebrities and news anchors, sports athletes, and news outlets who are not getting the viewership or the population. Yep, there is a gentrification. As a matter of fact, I first heard about this from when I was watching a video from Torain Rain. That's saying that there's a gentrification in within YouTube that's going on. They're replacing everyday average Jane and Joan content creators with celebrity, more famous people who are making YouTube channels. Because in the past, when YouTube was first created, celebrities and news and mainstream media outlets didn't create YouTube channels. Half of them didn't even create Facebook or Twitter accounts. That was us. See, a lot of people on YouTube have become famous and made lots of money without the need of going to a record label or going to mainstream Hollywood in order to become a famous or to make money, at least, or to become popular or to get subscribers and followers talking about certain getting information and news and stuff like that. And it's not coming from mainstream media. It's coming from everyday average James and Joes like myself and maybe even you guys, especially if you have content of your own. Yes, I heard about that, about The Real. Matter of fact, The Real attacked YouTube a couple months ago for no reason at all. You see, one thing that celebrities do not like is criticism. And sometimes that criticism comes from celebrities. Recently, there has been a fight going on between Lizzo and Dr. Boyce Watson. Dr. Boyce Watkins is a content creator here on YouTube. He's supposed to do this thing like the Black School, the Black Business School, which is used to talk about Black people getting involved with business. Or he also talks about news and current events that's going on in the Black community. And he didn't like the antics of Lizzo, like her with that outfit that she was wearing, that inappropriate outfit that she was wearing at that Lakers game. right when where children happen to be nearby, exposing herself the way and acting the kind of way behavior that she should not be acting in a public place where there's families. And then all he did was constructive criticism. But you see, some celebrities don't like it when you do constructive criticism because sometimes they are so-called privileged. You see, a lot of these elites, these and I forgot to mention this on corporations. You know, the corporate business owners who run the corporations, who I blamed earlier in this video, this live stream. These people are these elites, these celebrities, these elites, and then even the politicians who I will get to later on. Yeah, she did. Yeah, Lizzo did respond to Boyce Watkins. She ain't the only music artist. He's gotten attacked by, I think, Tyler the Creator. Yeah, he's been attacked by Tyler the Creator too. And I remember Harvey Superboy. He said that a movie actor, I think Tom Arnold, went after him. Tariq has been targeted by politicians and celebrities and stuff like that for his content. So yeah, people don't think that these people don't watch our videos. They watch our videos. They look at our tweets, our posts, and stuff like that. See, they don't. They think they're so entitled to not being heard criticism. Some of these celebrities are starting to have their own channels. And I think that's why YouTube all of a sudden create that harassment policy. When they mean by talking about other people on YouTube, they probably also mean talking about certain celebrities, even if it's justifiable, even if it's talking about a certain person, and that certain person all happens to have an account. Lizzo can go around and say, Boyce Watkins is making a video about me, even though he's not talking about your YouTube channel. But because Lizzo has a YouTube channel, she can report her to YouTube, and YouTube can just go after Boyce Watkins. But you see, that's what some of these celebrities, and that's why, you got celebrities like Lady Gaga not taking a bath. I'm like, you're going out in public, you're chill. You got you're a role model of these people, but yet you're doing stupid stuff like not remembering to make sure you shower before you go to bed or when you wake up. And it's like I'm like, what is the heck is Lady Gaga even thinking about? I'm like, you saying that it's been a while since you take a bath. I'm like, seriously, don't you know how you smell and stuff? And what do other people think? I'm like, if she ever does like a meet and greet, it's like what? We have to make sure we bring soap and air freshener and stuff like that in order to, when we go to our meet and greets and stuff like that. I'm like, that is disgusting, Lady Gaga. That is disgusting. But you see, celebrities don't like that criticism. Yeah. So some of these celebrities are entitled that they don't want to hear any other content creators. And then also, they don't want to hear other content creators talk about them on YouTube. Another thing is, the popular you are, the more money you make. Celebrities are extremely popular. So YouTube is like, wait, if these celebrities come and use our platform and advertisers and their fans start donating money through Super Chat to support these celebrities, or advertisers want to come in and put ads on their videos because they're popular, that's more, some of that money goes to us. This is YouTube saying this. This is Susan Wojcicki saying this, or Susan Wojcicki saying this. We can get more money out of these celebrities. We don't even need these content creators no more because they're just poor people, or they're just nobodies, or that's what they think, even though actually became popular by being YouTube content creators. Their celebrityism is being a YouTube content creator instead of being a Hollywood and stuff like that. But they would prefer the celebrity because sometimes the celebrity, see, the average Jane Jones has more freedom than the celebrity. That's another thing. And that's also goes the same to the other people that I'm about to blame. Lamestream media. I did a video way back of how the young, especially, are getting their news and information and even entertainment or the way of communicating through social media more than through phone and mainstream platforms. A lot of people are not happy with the mainstream media. Did you notice that the CNN is suffering the lowest amount of viewership, television ratings and viewership are extreme time low? That's because no one trusts CNN anymore. A lot of people are not filling CNN. A lot of people are not watching the news because a lot of people are getting their information from YouTube content creators that happen to also be journalists or do news and people, and they speak the truth, and people like getting news from YouTube instead of getting it from CNN, and that's hurting CNN's ratings and advertisers who are going to YouTube. Some of those advertisers also advertise mainstream media, or they're leaving mainstream media because advertisers is not getting enough from mainstream media, but they're getting something from YouTube. So the mainstream media is like, well, here's the many evil antics that mainstream media is doing to try to get people to come back to mainstream media or to, hurt content creators. Number one, make a bunch of hit pieces, especially if the mainstream media news outlets. If the mainstream media happens to be news outlets like your CNNs, your CBSs, your ABCs, your Foxes, your NBCs, news and stuff like that, or your newspaper and online news outlets like your Washington Post and New York Times, they'll make hit pieces on YouTube. They'll make YouTube do evil policies that hurt content creators because they don't like content creators or the supporters criticizing the mainstream media and stuff like that, or being better than the mainstream media. I want to read this. This is why all blacks need to go over to Black Junction. If your subscribers love your content, they will follow you wherever you go. That is correct. Thank you, Hobby Money. But we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about the mainstream media evil antics. Yeah, they'll that's why they make hit pieces against certain content creators or against YouTube itself to try to hurt YouTube or try to hurt content creators or try to censor or purge them off and stuff like that. And then also another thing you should notice is a lot of these mainstream medias are starting to create their own YouTube channels and try to get subscribers. To make it even worse, YouTube itself, once again, why I put them on YouTube, I blame YouTube as number one, will create algorithms that highly recommend corporate media outlets, but yet will not notify or recommend lame independent media or new black media channels, and it's done on purpose. It's because they want people to pay attention to corporate media. These celebrities, these news anchors, these mainstream medias, they want to be the only ones that give you information, communication, and entertainment. They do at these corporate and stuff like that. Same with these corporations and advertisers. They do not want independent media, especially new black media, and they do not want us to get our information from new black media or independent media in general, because the mainstream media is bound by their corporate bosses or their sponsors or and such and such. We as everyday average content creators, I'm glad you don't watch them. We as content creators, but yes, yeah, that is a problem. Hobby Money. We as content creators, some of us are on our own. We own our own stuff, or we're have our own free will. We don't have to bound by certain advertisers or certain. We don't have to bound by the rules of the establishment and whatsoever. And that's what mainstream media hates. That's why we're able to talk more truth and do more news reports that mainstream media can't do, because their corporate sponsors don't want them to talk about certain topics, especially if it involves with certain corporations, advertisers, or certain politicians and governments. Which, by the way, we will get to politicians and governments later in this video, maybe in a few minutes. But you see, the mainstream media is also pissed off at YouTube and YouTube content creators, especially the new black media. The mainstream media is pissed off at the independent media and new black media. It's because the mainstream media, is losing viewers, and we are gaining viewers. A lot of people don't trust your CBSs and your Foxes, especially of the world, anymore. Maybe in the past, that was the only way we can get our news, but this is the internet. This is the age of the internet. This is the age of the streaming. This is the age of the internet is the biggest tool of entertainment, communication, and information gathering. So, and it's here to stay. It's probably going to be one of the few things within the next decade and the next decade and the next decade that's going to stay around for like forever. And this is where we're going to get everything. And some of the mainstream media, the old school media, the old dead media, soon to be old dead media, they don't like that. And yes, that's another thing. People don't trust the mainstream media as much anymore. At least some of us don't. I don't trust mainstream, and I pick and choose whoever gives me information, even if the person looks like me. Yes, you got to understand, you got bootlicks in the mainstream media that we can't trust. But there's a lot more people in the independent and the new black media that we do trust, that actually speaks the truth and has better information than what the mainstream media gives. Because the mainstream media wants to put out a certain agenda. We want to put out an agenda that wants to help our community. The mainstream media doesn't. Finally, we're going to talk about, hey, RJ Connections, welcome. I told you that I'm doing the live stream now. Finally, we're going to get to politicians and governments. Even though they probably haven't been the real reasons why YouTube make certain policies or try to purge or censor people, it's just certain, and this also goes to the haters too, because I've had supporters of Pete Buttigieg, or should I say Pete Buttigieg, come on to some of my videos attacking me whenever I talk negative about their favorite candidate, Pete Buttigieg. You see, a lot of these politicians and governments, they don't like us bringing out their dirty laundry. So some of them threaten that when they get into office, they're going to try to threaten creating policies that hurts certain news outlets or certain social media platforms, and YouTube is going to be like, we got to make a rule so that they don't attack these politicians. And some of those politicians and then another thing is YouTube may be the donors of some of these politicians. That's another thing. Don't think that Google is donating. This is another reason why people are trying to get money out of politics. Don't think that YouTube is one of these people that's donating money to some of these politicians, hoping to get something out of return. And they don't want us talking about that certain politician in a negative way, or a certain government. Also, YouTube is trying to work with certain governments or government agencies to, make some kind of good deal. All right, Hobby Money says this: I need some of our black YouTubers to hit the streets and get the news. There are a lot going on that don't make it online. Yes, that is true. But you see, the mainstream media, celebrities, politicians, government, and YouTube itself tries to find ways to get YouTube to block some of that stuff. But still, I go with Hobby Money's plan. Yeah, get news from the street, get news everyone, and put it online so that we can spread the word. Because some of these people that I'm putting on the blame list, that they don't want the word to be spread. Now, why do I say governments and not just only one government like the United States? YouTube is a platform that's not used by just only Americans. A lot of people around the world use YouTube. The Japanese, the Canadians, the Mexicans, the Russians. Um, yeah, that is true, Hop. That is true. The Russians, the British, the French, all these different people from these different nations use YouTube, but sometimes you have other governments who will ban YouTube because of things that they don't like, especially if it's involved a content creator who's criticizing a government that's banned YouTube, or even if YouTube is not banned, uh that content creator, they just don't like that content creator talking bad about them, so they'll try to hurt YouTube. And then the only way one way YouTube tries to keep that government from hurting YouTube with a policy that can hurt YouTube is, okay, what if we make a policy saying we can't talk trash about this government, and then you can lift that ban, and then we can get your citizens to view our platform and stuff. You see, another thing is, the more countries that accept the usage of YouTube, the more money that will come out of YouTube's pocket, be put in YouTube's piggy bank. So they want as many nations not banning the website. And sometimes, in order way to do that is to make certain policies to make them nation friendly, and even throw certain content creators who criticize some of these nations under the bus, or criticize certain politicians. You see, you saw what happened to Kamala Harris. That was New Black Media that ended her campaign. And we're also the thing with Foundational Black America trying to get reparations on the table. We're putting pressure. We are, as content creators, are putting pressure on both the Republicans or the Democrats or the Demon Rat Party. We're putting pressure on them to do policies for our community, or we say we're not going to vote for them. Hey, what's up, Slide Jones? What's up? What's up, Slide Jones? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I probably never seen you, but well, if I haven't, then welcome to my YouTube channel. But yeah, see, politicians will even make threats saying that they're going to create policies that affect certain entities on the website, including YouTube and stuff like that. And YouTube may not want that to happen. And then, like I said before, YouTube may don't be a PAC donor to some of these politicians. YouTube may want certain politicians to win, and they don't want us criticizing and hurting the campaigns of certain politicians. So that's why YouTube will make policies affecting us if we're talking bad about certain politicians and stuff like that. All these antics that's affecting, like with the COPA rule, because remember, COPA, the FTC is a government agency within the United States government that created the COPA rule and put down the lawsuit against YouTube, finding YouTube lots of money, which led to this recent COPA rules. So you got to also think that, yes, RJ Connection, we are royalty, but all right, we are royalty. Now, these people that are put on this blame list are some of the are a lot of the, or at least just some of the individuals that's causing all the havoc that's affecting YouTube in a negative way, or it's affecting its content creators in a negative way, including defunding, censorship, and the removing of certain content creators, the purging is happening, and the gentrification where they're trying to replace content creators with content creators that they like, or celebrities, or mainstream platforms, and such. And this whole gentrification of YouTube and also the silencing of our voices is why I created this video, this live stream, um in this blame list. And this is why I do sometimes advocate people to go on to certain platforms and stuff like that. Um, let's see what I'm about to do. Yeah. This is why I sometimes advocate people to come on here to all these different platforms and stuff. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. This is just one what you see in this one. This is blackshares.net. This is like the Facebook of Black Shares. The other one is their YouTube style platform. This is the where see here on Black Shares. This is why I tell people to sometimes come here to watch my content, because this is like their YouTube platform. And of course, this is Black Junction TV. I do videos on here. That's their YouTube style platform. This is their Facebook style platform. Hold on. I don't think the other Black Junction. Yeah, right here. This is their Facebook style platform. This is blackjunction.com. This is why I advocate people to come here to if they want to upload videos, or if they want to come over here to these different platforms. Because what's going to happen is sometimes these antics that YouTube is doing, the worst fear is that their antics to try to censor people could backfire on YouTube. I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. I might share it later. See, all right, hold on. RJ Connects said, "We're a force and fearless J-Dog. That's why YouTube and other establishments are afraid, and we have awakened." That is correct. And that is also why I urge some people to go on certain platforms like those ones I just shown, and then also why they should support Black-owned streaming platforms like NFA Studios or Quality TV. Those are like the Netflixes, Black-owned Netflixes called streaming services, and why we support the content there, especially with all the antics that Hollywood has been doing, and YouTube as well. But yeah, you see, their evil antics could also mean that YouTube is causing, could also backfire on YouTube and cause us to go to certain competition. Uh, Other than Black-owned platforms, there are some non-Black-owned platforms that I'm starting to check out. There's this one called Blair TV that I might start uploading to as well, and see how that's like. I want to show you what that is real quick. I mean, I do still recommend you go to Black-owned platforms if you are a Black content creator, but I do want to show you platform that I've also been using. Now, this is not a Black-owned platform, but this is like the next chapter of YouTube. I'm going to share my screen real quick as well. All right, I'm going to share my screen again. This is Blair.tv. Blair.tv. I do have an account on here, and at least one of my videos is already uploaded. This is this is like about to be YouTube's next. Yes, that's exactly correct. RJ Connections. Yes. That's good. Hobby money. They fear because as Black people, we want our tangibles and reparations, and we as a people haven't wavered. You got that right. But you see, some people who once upload videos are now coming to places like here or BitChute or Patreon, and then of course, like I showed earlier, the Black-owned platforms like Black Junction, Black Spot, or Black Shares, Blitter, or um, Black Enough, Black Shares TV, and there's plenty of others too. People are starting to go to these platforms now, or Twitch or whatever. It's because YouTube's antics, and now it's wanting some of these content creators are now going to these new platforms, and I hope that they are able to compete with YouTube. So YouTube better be careful and stop hurting the content creators, or it's going to cause content creators to leave YouTube, and that's going to hurt YouTube. So that's what YouTube also doesn't understand. Hey, Vulcan 2050 Fool. Hey, Giant Dog in chat. Here's RJ Connection. Your leadership and integrity and classes is number one. Hobby money. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. You're speaking of how. Okay. Hobby money. That's a good compliment for hobby money. Thank you. Okay. So y'all talking to each other. Okay. That's good. All right. Now I was about to say, yeah. See, this is us. This is what I'm about to say is YouTube better be careful and hope that this don't. Yeah, because if YouTube's not careful, we're gonna leave YouTube and then they're gonna end up broke. Or what's gonna happen is we're gonna put YouTube to court next. See, YouTube gotta understand that we as popular as it is, and we can take away all that. Even if we don't own it, we can take away their popularity, or make it, or have go to their competitors, and we'll just do things on the other platforms. And if some of this and YouTube can just be hurting and all that stuff. But like I said before, the reason why YouTube is doing some of these antics is because they're trying to find ways to silence us. I just want all blacks to leave YouTube. Yeah, and I believe that could happen in the future, or at least we don't have to all leave, because, and let's not forget, we should only be able to leave if we want to leave, not be YouTube force us to kick off. We should be wanting to leave if we want to leave. But the thing, and here's the thing, yeah, and yes, we should go to other platforms and check them out. Yeah, and yeah, if YouTube is not careful, hobby money, you're absolutely right. We need to leave YouTube, and let's see how YouTube is going to survive without us. It's like what I said before. YouTube became what it is because of got people like us, not the mainstream media, not the celebrities, because a lot of them want to downplay YouTube and destroy it. But it seems YouTube doesn't care about that. YouTube just wants to throw content creators under the bus. All right, RJ Connection is like when we formed as a team, we're unstoppable. As Black people, we have total power than YouTube and others have us think. That's exactly correct. So YouTube better watch out. But I think that's all I have to say about this, because right now, let's see what's going to happen. And as 2020 goes by and beyond, let's see what happens in the near future. Because right now, this is what's happening. Yeah, they really want to censor us. See, they don't want us talking about certain things. Like, I might be making videos about what's going on in the Middle East. You know that there's a possibility that we could be ending up in war in Iran. But of course, the mainstream media and YouTube may not want us to talk about that. So that's why they're targeting our channels. They don't want us talking about what's happening with that, what's the situation with the Iran and the Middle East and stuff. I mean, it's getting bad right there. I'm about to do some videos, or at least one, about what's happening that with the protests and the bombing and stuff like that, and that general getting killed. Yeah, but like I said before earlier, YouTube is allowed some of these YouTube's new policies is not good for some content creators, and it could end up backfiring or causing serious problems later in the future. But that's all I want to say. I want to thank everyone for watching. This is my first time in a while. It's been a while since I've been did a live stream. Hopefully y'all liked the live stream. I think that's all I want to say for now. Uh, yeah. Thank y'all for coming back coming to my live stream. I thought it's been a while since I've done a live stream, but I'm glad that I was able to get this live stream. I think I've said what I need to say, so I'm about to click off right now. I'll probably make more videos, upload videos later on, maybe starting this weekend. But yeah, I just wanted you to hear my thoughts and everything. But that's all I want to say for now. This is J Dog. Thank you for watching this live stream, and I hope to catch y'all in another video. Peace, everyone.